Bhakti Rasa. So there's two subject matters that Srila Prabhupada explains in that introduction. One is Bhakti and Seva, Bhakti and Rasa. Because this is the essence of nectar of devotion. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Dade Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Deve Vishesha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityanandasya Advaita Radha Shivas Hari Gaur Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Samagyan Dhyasya Vinam Vinashmakaya Chakshurumilitam Tasmai Sri Gurudeva Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manu Vishtam Vishtapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Bhukadatma Sri Rupa Goswami, Srila Prabhupada begins his nectar of devotion by speaking about Rupa Goswami, because Rupa Goswami is the author of the nectar of devotion. From the very time that Sri Rupa and Sanatan came in contact with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they heard about him, so they began to write letters, because they immediately understood that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of God. Even just hearing about it. Not that anyone told them that he was the Supreme, simply by describing his activities. Because they are eternal associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and eternal associates of Radha and Krishna. So therefore immediately they could understand. And they wrote some letters. They wrote one letter, no reply. They wrote another letter, no reply. They wrote a third letter, and no reply. Finally, after a long time, after many months, because they had written letters saying that we after hearing about you, the only thing we can think of is simply to join you. And so after third letter, after some months, they got a reply. And the reply was very mysterious. In the beginning, a very mysterious reply, saying that when someone has a lover, they are very careful to serve. When a woman has a lover, she's very careful to serve her husband faithfully. And that was the answer. So then, of course, immediately they could understand that they were serving the Muslim government. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was telling them that even though you love, I'm your lover, otherwise I'm the Supreme Personality of God, the real object of your love. But this is your pati, this is your master. Right now, the Hussein Shah. So therefore you must serve him very faithfully. Don't, and he was saying, I will indicate when the time is right for you to come. So this is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. So, this instruction is very important for someone performing devotional service, because we will have so many different masters, in the sense that living in this material world, we have to live in some society. And in that society, we will be required to work in a certain way or to perform in a certain way. And so the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not that we become neglectful. Srila Prabhupada, several times, at least 3 times that I know of, when he was speaking on the qualities of Vaishnavas, he would say Daksha, because he said Dakha, that's how you say it in Bengali. Daksha means very expert. So Srila Prabhupada said expert means that a devotee can do anything for Krishna. Otherwise, if they have to be married, if they have to have a family, they can do that. And Srila Prabhupada, Krishna, put Srila Prabhupada in that situation. For Srila Prabhupada at a very young age, when he had just married, actually wasn't even living with his wife at that time. Or maybe he was, but I think he wasn't living with his wife at that time. And when he went, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and if he was just very newly living with his wife. And he got the instruction. his instruction to preach in the English language, which meant basically going to the West. And of course, there was no way to do that. And Srila Prabhupada was trying to figure out how to do it. At that time, of course, he didn't conceive of it as going to the West. So he tried so many things, but he very faithfully carried out his grihastha duty, because that was his obligation at that particular time. So, in Krishna consciousness, when we read and when we study the nectar of devotion, we have to understand the real nature of bhakti. The bhakti has nothing to do with our external activities, in the sense that a devotee by nature, yat karoshi adashnasi, yat tidosi tadasi, yat tapasyasvi konteya, yat karushva harakanam. A devotee is offering everything to Krishna already. Otherwise, whatever external activity a devotee is performing, it has to be offered to Krishna. Otherwise, we are not devotees. If we're not offering everything to Krishna, then it means that we are neophytes. And neophytes are actually not devotees. They are simply devotees by the mercy of Sri Guru and Gauranga. They're not actually devotees by their own merit, by their own ability to serve Krishna and to dedicate themselves to Krishna. So therefore, the first symptom of a devotee, actually this verse, Yat Karoshi Adashnasi, by the Acharyas say that this is actually still in the category of karma yoga. It's not even bhakti. I mean, of course, karma yoga is a form of bhakti, but actually bhakti is described by Rupa Goswami, which is something that you'll be studying very intimately in this course of Nectar Devotion. The most, practically speaking, the most important and famous verse in the whole Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which is Anya Vilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadhyana Vritam, that pure devotional service is devoid of all types of desires, and especially karma and jnana, because most material desires manifest in these two forms. Either we want to enjoy this world, or we want to enjoy our mind and our intelligence through jnana. One or the other. And so, one has to actually come to that platform of bhakti. This is where bhakti begins. When the Acharyas comment on Rupa Goswami's most wonderful verse, they all say that the most important ingredient, anukulena Krishna anushilanam. Anushilanam, anu means, it can either mean following the footsteps of the parampara, following the previous acharyas, or it can mean also that very intense. Because when one does something, because one is told, because it descends, then there's no other option. Otherwise, when we have the ascending process of understanding Krishna and devotion, then we may see so many options. But when the process of devotional service descends, there's no option. It's just, this is what you do. This is it. It's not like, well, maybe like this. Of course, we're very good at that. You know? We're very good at taking instructions that descend and speculate on them. But a real devotee immediately takes that, like Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada said so many times that my only qualification is the mercy or the order of my Guru Maharaj. And he, practically speaking, every time he spoke about his Guru Maharaj, it was in relation to the fact that he received an instruction, and his qualification was that to his best of his ability he tried to carry that out. Srila Prabhupada has indicated this is anushilana. And shilana means very intensive. Very, very, shila means like stone or solid. Otherwise, very much, with great determination, Krishna Bhakti. That one serves Krishna with great determination, free from all other influences. Of course, this is, Rupa Goswami is taking that particular definition, which he explains